Well, hey there, it's MarVeena. Welcome to my Angel Q&A. Today in my video, I'm going over the veil of amnesia, and sometimes people to it as the veils of amnesia because there's actually 7 of them. And I'm also going to be taking some questions. So the first thing that you want to do, though, is establish a connection with me here. And a great way to do that is to type your name in the comments and to type in where you're from and just create a intention to connect heart to heart over here to my place. And that is a good way for me to be able to kind of get a feel for your energy, and also our angels to sort of coordinate so that my angels can help bring through information that your angels think that you might need to hear or that you might benefit from. So intention is powerful, and just kind of go into your heart to really dial in on the pieces of business that can help you to move forward the most. So, welcome everybody. I apologize for being late today. Facebook has sort of changed up their format. So, where I was looking to come on, it was like in a different location. But anyhow, it's all good. And if you have a candle, go ahead and light a candle. I have a tea candle burning behind me. That is a really powerful way to send a signal out to the universe that we align ourselves with the light. And it's always good to surround yourself with the different elements, because it helps us to balance and to really understand the resources that we can pull from today. Another thing that you want to do is just trust that your own angels know the different pieces that are important for you to hear today. And so if you can just trust that, then it helps you to just grab on to ideas and information that can really help you to move forward right now. So welcome everybody. Hi Krista, I see you. I hope you're staying warm up there in Alaska. So hey Misty, hi Carrie. It's great to see everybody. It's coming. Questions are coming in a different place, but for right now, just put your name in there, and this establishes a link, and then later on in the presentation, then you can put down your questions in the live feed, and I'll see if I can get anything about them. So you might just light a candle, burn some incense, and just ask your angels to sit with you in the circle, to connect to me, to connect to my angels, and to be in a state of mind that you're receptive to moving forward and to up leveling your consciousness and really aligning yourself with your highest soul's blueprint, path, and purpose. Quite often, those things are very different than what our ego may have been kind of focused on. And that kind of ties in with one of the veils of amnesia. So it's really important that we do our best we want to be respectful of our ego, because it does serve a really good purpose that helps us to immerse ourselves in this illusion of separateness. But there's a point where it kind of gets in the way, and we want to really be in connection with our higher self, so we can get some ideas that we can bring down, where we can start making adjustments in our life and our how we're running our thought patterns and how we're using our energy to move forward. So there is a point where it serves us well, as far as the ego, and then there's a point where it kind of gets in the way, because quite often, if you set a goal for yourself 20 years ago and your ego saying, I've got to stick with this and I have to see it through and I have to make this happen, but your higher self is seeing there's so much more potential if you could just kind of vector your attention and direct it in a little bit of a different direction, or maybe a whole lot of a different direction, then you could be more attuned to your highest blueprint. And one of the ways that you will know if you are out of alignment with your highest path and blueprint is if you feel a lot of frustration and a lot of anxiety. So that brings me to my presentation today with the Veils of Amnesia, is that a very, very special, highly important archangel who goes by the name of Butalia, and that's just the closest that we can comprehend, because any of the names of the master teachers or archangels or angelic spirits, they just kind of get as close as what we can understand while we're focused here in a physical body. But this archangel has only been close to us in the recent years so that we could get a glimpse of him and how he can work with us, because his energy is just really intense, and he appears as this brilliant, pure white angel. And if you were to see him before you were really ready to see him, then it could just destroy all of your veils of amnesia, and you would know your connection to the divine. You would understand all of your other lifetimes, and you would see through what you have going on here. And so this physical body would no longer serve its original purpose. So we have to kind of move through that in a slow way, and we want to do it right so that we can stay balanced, or at least that we can, when we get out of balance because of a new body of understanding, we can synchronize or synthesize that material, that information, and then we can get back into balance. So the Archangel Butalia works really close with the Archangel Metatron to help us begin to elevate our consciousness and get our mindset sort of dialed in so that we can make these leaps of consciousness and move forward and really begin to understand ourselves as multidimensional and what we're really capable of. So the Archangel Butalia is here to, actually he's always been here, but kind of out of our scope of awareness or our scope of consciousness. But right now he's involved in helping us to move from the third through the fourth into the fifth dimensional consciousness and awareness. And that's one of the reasons we're going through such turbulent changes right now with all of the coronavirus and these huge shifts that are going on, so that we can move out of the old way of thinking, of designing our lives, and we can make better use of our multidimensional selves. So we're going through 2 dimensions in a 20-year period of time, which I don't think has ever been done before. And so there's a lot of special help from the angelic realm, the archangels, the masters on the Council of Light. They're helping us to integrate this experience. And one of the things that you can do that will help you is just create a regular routine to sit with your angels, to meditate, to pray, to ask for guidance and ask for an understanding of your challenges and how you can move through them in a beauty way. And that reminds me that that is another thing that is really important to, I think, create an intention, is to integrate this whole process through pleasure and through beauty. Because, hang on, I've got to get a drink here. So, we can learn through pain, and a lot of times we've just been brought up that if we learn through pain, then we're going to kind of make better use of the information or make better use of what we've gained. But I don't think that it is that we have to do that. And in this day and age, we've already made a shift of consciousness that it is perfectly acceptable for us to learn through pleasure and learn through beauty. So create an intention beginning now. I intend to integrate my challenges, my opportunities, and my lessons in a beauty way and for the highest soul good of all. And I just feel like that really helps us to kind of make some necessary mindset shifts. I talk about that a lot in my my mindset self-mastery boot camps, and so that we can recognize when we're on a mindset pattern that is stuck in the third dimension, and we can begin to vector that mindset so that we can move through that idea and take it in through pleasure rather than feeling like we have to suffer for it. So the veils of amnesia are set into motion in order that we can come into this dimension and just have a fresh start and have a viewpoint from maybe a different origin, different ethnicity, a different sex. We could come in sometimes as the female, sometimes in the masculine sense. And it offers us so many different ways that we can take in data, that we can just see what all of the different lessons that we gather from these different perspectives. So each time we come into a different physical body, we're able to choose where we want to come in, what country, what sorts of social, economical background, what gender do we want, and all sorts of things. And quite often we even purposefully choose to come in maybe in a limited capacity with different sorts of problems that give us a different viewpoint on life. And then when we cross over, we integrate what we learned in that lifetime with what we have learned in other lifetimes. So we agree that we will go through the veils of amnesia in order to have a fresh start and fresh eyes, and move through our opportunities and our challenges from a place of faith and a place of trust. So the veils of amnesia are set into motion but when we descend into matter. So right now we're focused in a physical body, and whenever we cross over, we go back into our true state, which is our spirit body. So right now our spirit bodies are using our physical body in order to have this illusion of separateness while we're here on planet Earth, and all of these different illusions that are going on. If you find that some of the pieces of business are particularly hard on you right now, or scary, or causing a lot of fear or a lot of suffering, I would suggest just making sure that every day that you spend some time the best way to do it would be in nature, and ask that your spirit guides, your angel guides, your master teacher guides sit with you and just bring you some information that you can use to help you kind of get through the day or get through the whatever is going on right then. Usually it's better to do that than to ask for like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, because quite often, if they won't give us that much information, but if they were to give us that much, then it might really cause us to go into shock or go into overwhelm or basically blow our mind. So a little goes a long way when you're dealing with the spirit world and just these big picture ideas. So you want to trust them that they have your highest good in mind, and they know what you can handle, and they also know what you may not be able to handle at any given time. So I mean, there are just different times where someone experienced a death in the family, and they're like, MarVeena, why didn't you tell me that they were going to die? And sometimes I might have had a glimpse of that, and other times my angels don't tell me anything about it, because if I were to let them know, that it would be too much information, and too much is not always a good thing. So in the 7 veils of amnesia, remember, we always want to raise our consciousness a little bit at a time so that we can integrate all of the different grades. We don't want to go through it too fast, because that can really just fry your wires. And there are times where people have had different sorts of accidents. Like I remember there was one famous person who was struck by lightning, and it just shattered all of the veils of amnesia, and he was able to see beyond this dimension, and it was really difficult for him to integrate. So be careful what you ask for, because I know quite often some of my students in my boot camps, they're like, I want to know it all right now. And it's just so important that we really get the little pieces a little bit at a time, and we have just the opportunity to meditate on them, to pray about them, to see how they work for you in your day-to-day life, and integrate them slowly into your consciousness. So in the 7 veils of amnesia, the 7th veil begins to lift whenever we start to think in spiritual terms. And even though some of you came today with the idea of getting a message from one of your angels or a relative, just trust that because you are attracted to this work and to how I work with my own angels, just know that it is time for you to kind of take your connection to your angels and your own spiritual path to a higher level. And so as we begin to pursue spiritual understanding and teachings and read books and do some spiritual types of practices like meditations and even yoga, tai chi, there's all sorts of different ways that we can work closer with spirit. Then the 7th veil of amnesia begins to lift. That is the one that is the farthest from us. And often it is kind of a reddish color. So that is known as the red veil. And as we begin to just, from a place of our heart, we want to move our consciousness forward, then that veil begins to unfold. And sometimes we can just see little like shimmers and maybe orbs as our angels come into our awareness. So it's really exciting whenever we start to get some glimpses of the spirit world. A lot of times at night, before you go to sleep, if you'll just tell your angels good night out of the corner of your eye, you'll see like a little twinkle. And I always see it as a blue color, but that's the way that your angels are kind of acknowledging you, and they get excited anytime that we can see them and just kind of get a clue that they're around. That's why I get so excited whenever the orbs come in. I've had a lot of angel orbs in my videos and spirit orbs, and it's always a blessing whenever we can see them. And it just shows that the higher consciousness beings, that they are working with us and they are excited to see us turning our attention to things of a spiritual nature. So the sixth veil of amnesia is yellow, and as it begins to dissolve, we just recognize that the spirit world is very vast, and there's so much more to it than what we might have previously understood. And we begin to interact with the elemental kingdom, like the plants and the animals and the mineral kingdom. And you may find yourself acknowledging the flowers, the trees, the birds as they go by, and talking to them. And I know my husband probably thinks I'm crazy because I always talk to my roses. I have a huge bunch of roses out here on the ranch, and so as they bloom, I'm always going by telling them how pretty they are. And whenever if they start to get wilted or anything, then I talk to them and baby them along. So you know that you're starting to make some progress when you recognize the elements, the elementals, even the little fairies that take care of Mother Earth, and you just have more of an appreciation and an excitement whenever you feel like they are connecting to you. So the more that we do that, the more that the sixth veil of amnesia, the yellow veil, begins to dissolve, and we begin to trust that we have intuition and that we can trust our instincts. And so that one is that helps us to kind of integrate our experience and zen with our experience. So for me, that really helps, like whenever there's storms around and everybody's like, oh my God, you're in Tornado Alley, and you can get a feel for how the energy is moving around and if you're potentially in the way of harm or not. And incidentally, the more clearing work that you do and spirit work that you do, the less you're going to that the elemental kingdom is going to need to do clearing for you. So if you have a lot of thunderstorms that go by your house or where you live, then you know that you need to do more clearing work on a regular basis. And there's many ways that you can do that. I do it with the archangels in my soul clearing work, but you want to just get it on your mind. Just like we have to clean our house all the time, we need to be mindful of clearing and cleaning the energy in your home on an energetic template and the land around it. So I do this on a regular basis all the time, but you may just kind of get it in your routine to do like a Sunday clearing prayer, or maybe a new moon or a full moon. And that's a good way to energetically cleanse the template of your house and the city where you live and the area that you live in, so that you don't have to rely on the elementals to do their thing, because they can be really um, enthusiastic. So that brings up another thing, is that you can connect to them as the veils of amnesia start to fall away. So when you do have a storm system that's moving in, just really get into your heart center and send out a voice and connect to the spirits of the storm, the thunder spirits, and just let them know that you hear them and you're grateful that they be very gentle with your area and all the children on the land, and that you're grateful for their efforts on your behalf. So the sixth veil of amnesia is the hardest one to dissolve, but the more that we are willing to work with our shadow pieces, and I'm just like everybody else, I have my shadow pieces to work with. Most of us, if we're in a physical body, we still have shadow work. And what that means is that we have issues that are buried in the tissues, and we need to maybe examine some of our belief systems or limiting ways of designing and choreographing our life, so that we can let go of maybe disappointment with people, how they might have let us down in the past, or hurt us or wounded us in any way. So it is, that's one of the ways that my angels work with me, is reminding me of when I have something that I need to do some ceremony work on or do some prayer work on. But that one is one of the harder ones to remove. So the pink veil is called the fifth veil of amnesia, and that is the veil of love. Whenever you are able to understand that a person is acting out because of their issues and their tissues, and you know that that they are that you can automatically forgive them, and you don't kind of go into anger. It's like you just trust in the moment that things are going to work out, and you let it go. So you will notice that whenever, like when you're driving in heavy traffic and somebody does something, cuts off in front of you, if you can just make adjustments and keep yourself safe without having some very bad words, then you know that you are kind of moving through that veil, and that you are successfully kind of clearing up the fifth veil of love. And that is a very, very powerful thing. So the fourth veil of amnesia is a blue color, kind of a lighter blue, and it begins to lift when we work with the animals and we really kind of have a connection to their journeys, and especially where they might have been abused or where they are suffering. So for those of you that have a big heart for the animals, and that is definitely me, I'm very much an animal lover, then you know that that veil is starting to lift. And when we understand that the animals have their own journey here and they're evolving too, and we can work with them and be more kind with how we interact with the animal world. All right, so, and we do what we can to be a blessing to the animal kingdom. And there's many different ways that we can do that. We can do it through intention. We can do it through visualization. We can be a blessing to them by making other people aware of different things that how they could help, like sharing a video whenever an organization is looking for donations to keep their shelter going. There's just many different ways that we can be a blessing to the animal world. And as we begin to lift that veil of amnesia, we're more able to understand what our animals are saying, and or what they're thinking and how they what they need. Like, I can look at my dogs and know when they want something to eat, or when they want to go for a walk, or they need something, and you will be able to intuitively get a little bit of a sense. I've been doing this a long time, and my horses particularly, they're very expressive once you begin to move through this veil of amnesia. So can somebody, like, I can't really see if the video is kind of got jammed up here. So the third veil of amnesia is it's a deeper blue, and this is one that dissolves as we begin to work with our angels in order that we can be a blessing to other people. And so as we kind of realize that we're part of the big picture, and that what we can do to be a blessing to others, it comes back to us. And so anything that we can do to elevate the consciousness of our community and touch the world with beauty, that at the same time that we're making our own journey more prosperous and happy as well. So what we do for others will come back to us. The second veil of amnesia, we get a glimpse of the big picture, and kind of we begin to get a sense of at one-ment with the Holy Spirit, and realize that we are multidimensional, that we have so many different aspects of ourselves, because we are a child of creation, of the Supreme Creator. All right, so and this one is violet. The second veil is like a violet color. The first veil is a pure crystal energy, like a crystal white. And this veil of amnesia is used to be the only time that that veil was lifted was whenever we passed over, that the Archangel Bautalia would lift that veil so that we could get a glimpse of what our journey was about, like on the big picture, and how this lifetime might fit in with other lifetimes, and just helps us to really see ourself as an aspect of the God Goddess energy and our potential, and how the lifetime that we just lived and everything that we experienced, how it makes a contribution to the whole, and just gives us a richer kind of understanding of our soul and our consciousness. But now, because the energy is getting more, it's getting higher here on planet Earth, we're able to start to peel away at that earlier. And the Archangel Battaglia begins to remove it a little bit at a time so that we can see ourselves and our connection to others. All right, so can someone just type in the comments that they can still hear me, because my computer is kind of showing me a wonky screen. So Jackie, are you there? Can you type in and see if you can still hear me? Because I don't know if I need to start over. So I think that I don't know. Okay, thank you. I don't know, my Facebook is just kind of going through some changes right now. So but anyhow, I'll share that. Okay, so the Archangel Battaglia is also very connected to the water element. And when we want to especially do some purification and maybe clear some of the different pieces that we're having a hard time holding on to, anytime that you're in the shower, in the swimming pool, or by a pond or any body of water, then just kind of send out a connection to the water element and the beautiful little water spirits, the Undines and the Archangel Battaglia, to help work with your own energy field and help you to purify your energy as much as possible so that you can clear and you can then be in a position to get more powerful downloads and kind of upgrades and more information from the universe regarding the questions that you have, the big and small questions, and your particular path here and your soul purpose. So that is definitely a good reason to do that. It just helps us to have more presence of mind to do things that are more meaningful, that are really more dialed into our highest soul purpose here. And we start to let go of the things that are superficial. So if you have questions about this, ask your own angel team to help you move through this understanding and to integrate it and how it can be relevant to your soul journey and what you have going on. So it's really quite transformational when we begin to see ourselves in the big picture. And trans is a word that means beyond, and form is about this word, and nation is the process of. And so we're in a process of understanding ourselves beyond this world at all times. And if we get it too fast, then it can sometimes blow our mind. So anyhow, I had a few questions that came through. Connie wants to know if the gentleman that she has been in contact is now avoiding her, and that she's very upset about him avoiding her. So Connie, I know that our egos sort of get set on a course of business, like a relationship or a potential relationship with someone, but I feel like it's really important, excuse me, to cultivate flexibility right now, and also trust in your own angel team to help you navigate the relationships, the interactions that are going to be most meaningful for you. There's a lot of times that people come into our life, and sometimes they come in for a long time, sometimes it's a very brief time, and they may just have like one little thing to share with us or to teach us. They may have nothing to teach or contribute. We might be the one that contributes to them. But just know that when the right person that energetically is a vibrational match for you, that they will not like ghost you or run and hide. It's like they will want to interact with you. So in the meantime, try not to get wrapped up into this person and feel rejected. It's so important that you don't give your power away and feel like it's a reflection of your self-worth. I don't feel that to be the case at all. But intuitively, when we know that we have a direction that we need to take with a person, it's like it'll all come together. So just trust that. And in the meantime, if you stay like really focused on this and feeling rejected from this, then it sort of binds you and keeps you more restricted, so that you're not in a position to see other opportunities and to connect to other beings. So I would say kind of put this piece behind you and just kind of bless that person for whatever they might have contributed, and just trust that you're going to be able to move forward in a good way. So Paula wants to know, will my life get better? So Paula, I feel like we're all going through kind of situations right now that really try us, and it is just so important to let your ego entertain a connection with your higher self and absolutely trust your higher self to help you navigate, because your higher self has your internal guidance system, like your soul's GPS, and it knows how to help you navigate. If there was a tornado coming through in 5 minutes, right where you sit, your higher self would get you up and get you down to the neighbors, and without even being afraid, it's like, oh, I need to go over here and talk to this person and take them back something. It would just happen. And you just have to trust that if you are caught up in some sort of accident or drama or trauma, that there is a piece of business that you need to examine, maybe a fear or an understanding, or there's something for you to learn with that. So just trust that. And once you begin to let go of your attachments to other people's business, the way they're designing and choreographing their life, and just trust that they have their own soul path that they need to follow, but how it unfolds for them is, and that is a challenging one. I know that from my own experience, because our ego wants to judge it as good or bad, or they're doing the right thing or they're doing the wrong thing, when none of us can really know what is the right way for them to go according to their soul path, what they really need to witness and to experience and integrate. So the answer to your question is, once you get more dialed in on your highest soul's path, plan, and purpose, then energy-wise, you will feel better and you will connect to people that are like-minded that can help to support you and help to encourage you and to guide you on. But in the meantime, uh, take some regular time every day to sit with your guidance team and your angels and just ask for insight that can help you to do the things that are really important to do. Okay. So, Barbara, I do feel like your mom is near you. I just get an impression that she's just trying to assure you that there is more after this journey, and excited to be able to get our attention today. And I definitely feel a fragrance around her and maybe some roses. So I don't know if she liked roses like I do or if you do, but I do get a sense of roses around her too. And also a connection to maybe a name with like Maria or Mary or Margaret that seems to be connected with you as well. So Rachel wanted to know if she had any messages from her angels. And so, Rachel, they just want you to know that they are very glad that you care and that you show up and you listen and you pay attention and you try to kind of work with the ideas presented. And they're just saying that sometimes when we are like on a path that isn't really aligned with our highest path, but we feel like for whatever reason that we need to stick with it, that it is hard to kind of switch horses midstream. But sometimes if we want to get different results, then we have to run our energy in a different way. So that's what they really want you to know, is that to get different results, you have to do some different things. So Nora writes in, are there any questions, my angels? Hi, Nora. So yes, your angels love you and they try to get your attention all the time. So I don't know if there's any kitty cats in the spirit world with you or with someone that is close to your family, but I just saw a kitty cat there. So the family of the cats, they're very powerful teachers, and they are from a very evolved star system. I think it's called Lyra, and so and actually that star system donated some of their DNA millions of years ago or a long time ago to help establish genetic material, so that some of us have very strong connections to that star system through our DNA. So, okay, what else do we have here? So, hey Lisa, like your husband in the spirit world is very, very proud of you and just wants you to know that he loves you from the other side, and just to not feel like that you have to overthink as far as your daughter, and that she definitely has her own crew of guides and angels that can help her to navigate what she needs to be a part of here on planet Earth. And he knows that from a parent's point of view that it's hard to just let it go and just let her do her thing, but he said that will take a big load off of your mind, and he will definitely see you again on the other side, but not anytime soon, so don't worry about that. And he feels guilty that he left you such a young widow, but he said that by and by that you will understand how and why things turned out the way that they did, and that it'll make better sense to you. He said to trust in the meantime that you have what it takes to continue to move through your soul purpose here and bring in what you came to bring. And then he said sometimes you doubt yourself, but he has faith in you. So he wants you to know that. And I saw this beautiful blue light whenever I was kind of connected into your energy. So it just makes me feel like he's also bringing like healing to you right now, and blessings in that way. So anyhow, I hope that this helps. And I just want to thank everybody for hopping on today. And if I didn't get to your question, just trust that if you create the intention to be receptive to the truth of the matter, to hearing the truth of it, that your angels will work really hard to get you a little bit of insight about what is going on with that situation. So it's really important that in order for us to make the next leap of consciousness, that we all realize that we are multidimensional beings. We have the ability to get insight from our angels, from our spirit guides, from the Holy Spirit, from our ancestors on the other side, and that you don't have to go through me to get that information. And I know a lot of you are doubtful, but I just feel like it's so important that you just take some time and just push open your kind of your understanding on that level, and let your consciousness expand so that you can be in vibrational harmony with the answers to your question, and just trust that. So if you would like to have more information about how you can work with your own angels, guides, and teachers, I have a ebook. It's called My Angel Connection ebook. It's free. I'll put the link in the description if you would like to sign up for it. And I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Thanks a lot. I'm MarVeena. Bye-bye.